Well, for many of us on the back benches who came to the conclusion we couldn't carry on as we were with Boris Johnson weeks, if not months ago, I'm pleased that the Cabinet have got to this point eventually, or at least two Cabinet members. I think other people will be weighing up their options. But, I mean, clearly the Pincher debacle and the Prime Minister sending ministers out to defend the indefensible and then saying admitting eventually the truth was dragged out in that he did know that Pincher had been investigated and found to have been involved in shenanigans while he was a minister. I mean, that was the icing on the cake for them. And I'm not surprised we're at this situation. This now needs to be resolved quickly. Boris Johnson needs to go, and he needs to go before summer recess.
Yeah, he's not a guy prone to, giving up, is he? Do you expect more cabinet ministers to resign in the coming hours and days?
Well, that's up to them. That's a decision they've all got to make. I think they should have gone some time ago. We could have avoided this situation, but we've got the 1922. They'll announce tomorrow the rules and the timetable for elections to the executive. I think we'll have an executive elected now who will be pro-rule change, and whatever the Cabinet do, we will be changing. I think we'll be changing the rules before summer recess to remove the Prime Minister, have a second confidence vote within 12 months.
But do you think, before all that, he can survive the resignation of, Chancellor and Health Secretary?
If the Prime Minister can get people to fill the roles, I think we've still got a vacant position for party chairman. He's got more vacancies now than an out-of-season seaside boarding house.
But did you hear his apology? He was on, half an hour or so ago, 55 minutes ago, accepting that it was a mistake to appoint Chris Pincher, apologising. What will Tory MPs make of that?
Well, I was actually with two former Loyalist Conservative colleagues when they got the text that the Prime Minister was actually going to be in the tea room at 4 o'clock and colleagues should come and join him. But myself and a few other Boris critics, we didn't seem to get that text. But it's too little, too late from the Prime Minister. He's worn the patience down of even his arch loyalists, and quite honestly, he's worn the public's tolerance of him down as well. A huge swathe of the population, they're die-hard Conservatives. They'll never vote Labour, never vote Liberal Democrat. They're just disengaging with politics, and this is all down to the way that the Prime Minister has conducted business in Number 10.
Right, and you just mentioned earlier, if the more cabinet ministers don't move against him, you could change the rules of this committee and the elections to the committee and then have another confidence vote. I suppose my question is, will you be able to change the rules? Will you win that? And then would you win another confidence vote? What's your thoughts?
Well, it's all been one-way traffic since the first confidence motion. After the by-elections, there's a considerable amount of buyer's remorse from colleagues who voted confidence in the Prime Minister. And quite honestly, the debacle over the handling of Chris Pincher, he should never have been in that position. That has put the tin lid on it, quite honestly. So even arch former Boris loyalists on the back benches have now completely lost faith, lost confidence and had enough. So it's time for Boris to go. He can drag this out for a few more hours if he wants to, but I and a lot of the party now are determined that he will be gone by summer recess. The sooner the better.
If he does stick around, what do you think that Chris Pincher should do? I mean, should he resign and therefore, provoke another by-election?
Well, he should resign. Clearly, he shouldn't be back in Parliament until the party moves the writ. It's a Conservative seat. It was within our party's gift to move the writ before recess or after recess. I think we've had enough by-elections at the moment. I think what we need is a new Conservative leader. Then I'd be very confident that we could actually retain the Tamworth seat. It borders onto my seat of North West Leicestershire. I would be convinced that with a new party leader, a new Prime Minister and the right candidate, we could retain Tamworth.
Right, and if Boris Johnson does go, who do you think will replace him?
I've no idea. We have a mechanism for that, and if I were to back anyone at this stage, I'm sure it'd be the kiss of death. So I'm not very good at backing the people who actually become the Prime Minister, and when I did back the person who became, it was Boris Johnson. So I'm trying to put that right now. And
just on Boris Johnson, where did it start going wrong? Was it Partygate? I mean, obviously, was a considerable element of all this, but he's on the international stage, he's had pretty good reports. Domestically, he's just stumbled from crisis to crisis.
I started losing faith in the Prime Minister, who I'd backed through Brexit and for the leadership, this time last year when he made a move to try and remove Sir Graham Brady, who was chairman of the 1922 committee, by putting his own person instead. That was a power grab. And then we had the Owen Paterson debacle. I didn't vote for that. I didn't vote for the national insurance increases. I couldn't support the rises in corporation tax. And it's been downhill from there, really, Mark.
And just finally, 30 seconds, how do you think this all plays out now?
It really depends if the rest of the cabinet get a backbone and move against the Prime Minister and resign. But whatever happens, I'm pretty convinced that Boris Johnson's going to be. We're going to be having a leadership election for the Conservative Party, quite rightly.